I'm Sharod Bines. I own Retrofit Records in Tallahassee, Florida. We were established in September of 2011, and this is the shop.
What made you decide to open up your own business, particularly a record store?
I've always kind of had the urge to open up like some kind of business here in Tallahassee. I'm from here. I'm a local. I kind of want to, give something back to the community in some way or another. And I wanted to do like a venue for a long time, and with a venue possibly with a small record store within it, like a retail element to it. And then when everything came to fruition, it was the exact opposite. We became a full-fledged retail record store that would do shows occasionally. But pretty much because there weren't any other record stores here in the city after Vinyl Fever closed in I think 2009 or 10 or something like that. So we decided to, we would open a shop, and now, I'd like to consider us the only legit record store here in the city.
What or who was the inspiration? Like, did you have a particular business that inspired you for like the way that you guys did Retrofit, or?
No particular business in general. Just just the fact that there wasn't like an independent record store here, and you go out of state or you go to other cities, and there's plenty of record shops around, and just we just didn't have that here, so we decided to create that kind of feel here in the city, and provide a place for people to come get new and used vinyl.
And how much time, money, and planning did it take before deciding to open the store?
Planning, it took probably a good maybe a good year of planning, and that included meetings about financial meetings about investment, how we're going to fund the business, finding the correct partners, that all within a year span, finding the right partners, figuring out how we're going to financially support it in the beginning, startup costs, and thirdly, finding the right location. That took a good year to find this, for all those things to come together in order for us to open up.
How did you guys decide on this location?
We kind of got lucky. One of the first spots we looked at was actually down the street on Gaines, the corner of Gaines and Railroad Avenue. I think it's where Papa Smokes is now. That's the first place we looked at, and we talked to the landlord, and the following week we were supposed to sign a lease with him, and he signed with someone else. So when that happened, about 4 or 5 months went by before the space we're currently in became available, and someone tipped us off that we should talk to the landlords here and find out what the situation was, and we just lucked out and got this space.
You mentioned planning and trying to figure out how you were going to get the startup capital to open the business. How did you guys end up getting the startup capital?
We pretty much all just came out of our own pockets. Like in the beginning, there's 3 partners total, and we just all agreed to take on the initial risks, and each one of us, split everything 3 ways. That's all the licensing fees, all the licenses we had to get, build materials for build out, paint, everything you can think of, and obviously inventory. We just all split that ourselves in the beginning, instead of taking out like a loan from the bank or doing something like that. This is my first business I started, but I think we started this business pretty affordably. Like it didn't take us much startup capital to get it going, but once we got going and there was a good interest in the business and what we were doing, we were able to grow like really fast, really quickly.
You mentioned that there were licensing requirements.
Mm-hmm.
What do they entail?
Your basic state licenses you have to have in the state of Florida in order to do business. We had to apply to be an LLC, a limited liability corporation. I don't think that's it. And there's fees that are associated with that. Then there's fees associated with resale certificates and taxes, things like that. But it's once I can say now, once we started the business and the business opened, and now I know how to do it. It's actually fairly easy to get. If you're going to do a retail business, it's fairly easy to get like the retail licenses. I think there's only 2 or 3 that you're required if you're just going to do retail business. So that was it wasn't too bad.
How do you guys go about marketing the store? do you have a particular way that you do it, or is there a place like a magazine or a newspaper that you go to?
Yeah, me personally, I'm a graphic artist in my normal job, so I look for any opportunity for us to promote the shop through whether it's like interviews in magazines, flyers, handbills, associating ourselves with different shows. But we've done obviously we have signage to attract people in on the street level. But we also done underwriting with the local college radio station. We've been in a couple of different magazines, Tallahassee magazine, Matador Records has interviewed us. Like I said, we put on shows, and that helps a lot to spread the name and the word of the shop. When we're associated with big acts and stuff like that. Word of mouth. No TV commercials or anything like that. Soon.
Yeah. So how many employees do you guys have, and what are their roles in the store?
I guess technically we haven't hired anyone on yet. Like I said, there's 3 partners involved with the shop, and primarily 2 of us work the shop. We're open every day of the week, so either I usually generally work the full time on the weekends here at the shop, Saturdays and Sundays. And my partner Bradley, he usually works Monday through Friday at the shop. When we first opened, I would come in the evenings, Monday through Friday, and work. And kind of just got burned out on that. And our third partner, he occasionally works the shop. He's more like a silent partner. He'll come in if myself or Bradley can't work the shop. So we haven't really had to, like I said, hire any employees. That we're all able to, maintain the schedule of the shop. But our duties include, everything from making orders, doing inventory, stocking, doing your basic retail sales, housekeeping, keeping the shop clean, taking out the trash, answering the phone. Your basic retail, duties,
What is it that makes you feel that that your business is a success? Like, what about the store has made you feel like that this was a worthwhile investment for you?
That we're still in business. About 3 years later, we're still here. In the beginning, a lot of people thought this was like a really dumb idea to try to open a record shop. They just didn't think there'd be enough people, there wasn't enough people here in the market, the demographic to come to want to shop here at the shop here at the record store. But so far, we've proven those people, the naysayers, wrong. Hopefully, we'll be here another 3-5 years. Just personally being here at the shop and seeing it, almost every day from where we went, where we had maybe like 5 bins of records, from going to 5 to 15 to 20 bins of records, and them being constantly full, just things where I could tell the shop was growing, where we went from probably in our first year from doing 1 or 2 orders, or probably maybe 2 or 3 orders a month, from that to doing 2 or 3 orders, on a weekly basis, and just the numbers, showing that that the shop is growing and that we're doing pretty well.
What is the worst experience that you've had since opening this store, like in relation to the store?
I don't know if I'd say worst. Worst is a strong word.
Or just like biggest struggles, I guess.
Yeah. Definitely things that were hard. Just in the beginning, how I don't know if it's just the state of Florida or just whatever. But it's like I said earlier, it was easy to start a business, but that's because I know what you need to do now. But in the beginning, we didn't really have too much guidance on the exact licenses that we needed. Just things of that nature. Just the learning curve that comes with starting a business can be pretty steep, and that's been pretty difficult. And just other things that come along with owning a business and having partners. Sometimes partners can butt heads. We're friends, but sometimes somebody might disagree or do things this way. So that can be really difficult sometimes. Just learning to work with others, learning to maintain the business, and I'd say the toughest things, once you get past probably your first 2 years of business, then you start kind of feeling comfortable about the way things are running and whether or not, it's something that can be sustained, and you most of the hurdles have been jumped by then, I think. At least that's how I feel.
If there was one thing that you could change about the way that you guys operate the shop, what would you change?
That's a good question. I don't know. I wish we could still do shows here, but that's more of an issue dealing with. That's a whole other issue. But I don't know. I pretty much like it, how we're doing everything now. The shop is continuing to grow. I keep seeing new faces come in when I'm working, so that's always a good thing. New people being exposed to the shop and hearing about us. Yeah, I don't know. Everything's good so far. I mean, we're still continually growing, and obviously we're still, every year that passes, we're getting the shop more and more. It's the vision that we had in mind, how we wanted it to be. So I think we're getting pretty close to what we envisioned.
What's the best advice that you could offer to someone who is looking to start their own business?
Do a lot of research. Ask yourself if you're willing to do all the work that's involved, depending on what your business is. Some businesses are harder to open than others. But yeah, do a lot of research. Try to find out what you need before taking on a business venture. Talk to as many independent business owners as you can. Find out what they did. Try to avoid mistakes. But first and foremost, have a vision and be willing to work really hard. Have good work ethic. It's because it's a lot of work.
And is there anything else that you could add about your business or owning a small business in general?
It's a lot of fun. It's fun being your own boss. It's cool seeing something that you created from nothing, and then to create it and then have it sustain itself, and actually sustain itself without you having to be super hands-on with it, have to be babysitting, to be able to you got into a point where it's able to run itself and it's doing a good job. I think that's really cool, and a lot of things I didn't know before starting a business that I've learned since then. But just the enjoyment of, like I said, being your own boss, and having something you can call your own, that you made, that no one else has any say over or owns, but you. I think that's pretty awesome.